Justin Herbert. I think Justin, all the quarterbacks that are in the league still, I truly believe he still has the most potential. I know you guys love lightning bolts and all those things.
Welcome to Fitz and Whit. I'm Fitz, that's Whit, and this is a Wave original. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to give us 5 stars. Follow the show on social media at Fitz and Whit. That's Fitz, A-N-D, Whit. New episodes coming in hot every Wednesday. We have a big one this week. Whit, tell the good people out there what we have on deck.
Well, as always, Fitz, we're going to get into a little bit of NFL action from this weekend. I've heard you have some thoughts on the Detroit-Dallas game. Love to talk that through with you. Then we'll also take a quick look around college football. A little bit of news down at LSU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I don't know if you heard.
And, can't wait to hear.
Yeah, and you know what? He's back, baby. That's right. Hank the Tank is back to make some picks. You better get your mind right because he was on a little bit of a momentum swing. I think Hank's looking to take you down for the season. But first, our guest today is a 12-year NFL vet out of BYU, a Pro Bowler, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, part of the Patriots All 2010 team, linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens, and according to Fitz's daughter, your friend with the angry eyebrows.
Yeah.
Fitz and Whit, welcome to Kyle Van Noy, baby.
Ho, ho.
Let's go. Hey, what
host.
an intro. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, brother. I got you.
What's up, KVN? How we doing?
Man, these eyebrows are feeling good today.
They're looking
ready to
good,
go.
baby.
They look damn good, man.
Thank
well,
you.
I feel like you've lost years off your life this season. I mean, never a dull moment in the NFL. You guys have a rough start to the season, but it feels like we're back on track a little bit, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully. I think when you're 6-6, when you're typically have been in the past 2 years a lot better than where you've been, the sky is falling, right? And you just try to block out the noise and focus on the main thing, which is winning the division at the end of the day. And we have an opportunity of that. And I think when you look back to where we were at, we'd be happy to be 6-6 when we were 1-5.
Exactly.
I think everybody looking back would be like, hot damn. 1-5 to 6-6, they've battled back and they've put themselves in a chance to win the division. And I think, that's exactly where you want to be in December. You want to be playing meaningful games. There's a lot of teams that are just playing to play right now, and that's not fun. I've only been in that opportunity maybe once in my career, and it sucks. And you're just going to work.
Oh, what year was that, Kyle?
It wasn't the year we were together. It wasn't. We were still playing for something, except in the last game, we didn't play for nothing. They hung up 50 with your best friend playing quarterback up there. But, I'm just excited to have the opportunity being this late in my career to still be playing for something meaningful, something that I would love this group to achieve. I don't think it's been done in the history of the Ravens being division champs 3 years in a row. I don't know if anyone has done it, whether the Steelers or the Bengals or Browns. I think you would have to, check the notes for me, but this group doing that 3 years in a row, especially after this year, all the stuff we've gone through, from people have passed to starting 1-5 to the injuries to all the behind the scenes. I know every team goes through it, but just all of that to being able to have a chance at the end of the year, we're super blessed with that.
Yeah, Kyle, when you look at that to the season, what do you think's part of the turnaround? Is obviously getting healthy is a big part of it, but what are some of those things that went into turning things around from that 1-5 moment?
Yeah, I'm going to say with the new generation, you don't see guys hanging out as much, right? It's just a whole different vibe. I believe it's the NIL deal. And I would just say this group, when we were 1-5, we weren't like together, but I think going through that, we've leaned on each other, and it's been awesome. Like I can truly look back and tell you like how much I respect the young leaders in our locker room, from Kyle Hamilton to Roquan Smith, who are now becoming veterans. They're younger guys to us. But just those guys, and then Lamar's leadership and what his role has taken on since I've been here, and growing more and more into a somebody that's, not just does it on the football field, but finally steps up and speaking out. We can get into that, of the removing of the toys and all that, if you want. But just him from where he's been at when I first got here, where he's at now, leadership, being vocal, it's just been so impressive, because it's something that I don't know if he gravitates towards, like a lot of QBs or a lot of, leaders, and that everyone is accustomed to, the rah-rah, all that.
Right.
I think him embracing that vocal leadership over the last 2 years has been awesome. It's been awesome for the team, and it's got us closer. I mean, offense, defensively, special teams, we all hang out with each other. We all like each other. We all want everybody to be successful. No one's pointing the fingers. No one's saying, oh, it's your guys' fault or our fault. We're all trying to win the game. And on some teams, you can see a lot of finger pointing, and we haven't had any of that, thankfully. And I think that's why we're going to try to continue to go on this run, because of how we've been brought together, kind of band of brothers a little bit.
I think when Lamar speaks, I got to imagine people are going to listen.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been,
I would think so.
best player in football in the last 5 years, and maybe it took him a little bit for him to realize how much weight that carries.
Uh-oh, this might get back to your guy. Uh-oh.
I mean, Kyle, can you believe he just said that? That was my first thought, right when it came out of his mouth. I went, whoa.
One of the best, baby.
Okay,
one of the best.
Yeah,
He's going to lose his invite.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you know what? Lamar Jackson is the only 5-time the TNF desk interviewer, interviewee in the history of TNF. So,
oh wow,
he's got something over Josh, because Josh, they just lost to the Texans.
He's mad at him. That's what he's telling you, Kyle.
He
he's
didn't
mad
come
at
on
Josh
the
for
desk.
losing and not coming on the desk.
I know. I'm sure you guys wanted to argue about the beards too. Whit going gray, all that.
Oh yeah,
dye in the
you've
beard.
heard it all.
Yeah, I've heard it all. Yeah.
I mean, look at that dye he's got in there right now. That thing looks darker this week. There's no doubt about it.
Stop it. No, Kyle's got this unique. Kyle can grow it all the way up to basically his eyelids.
Yeah,
he's got to shave that thing down a little bit.
I feel like I'd be pretty good welcomed in the Middle East. In a good light.
Hey, I want to know, Kyle, because we played together in Miami, and you were such a steady figure in the locker room and a great leader. When
Are
did
you sure
realize,
I was? Because I feel like they said I was a bad captain down there. I was a bad teammate.
that was your guy that you followed from New England over with. No, you were. I'm telling you, and what a figurehead you are in the locker room, and the weight that you carry with your opinion and when you speak. But when did you realize you start looking around and you're one of the older heads in the locker room and you had to take on that role?
Ooh, man. In the Ravens organization, I would have said last year, when we started not so well for the first 8-9 weeks of the season on defense, and I finally stepped up and was like, man, I'm sick of this shit. I'm not, if this is my last year, I'm not going out like this. Like, no way. And so I kind of called a defensive team dinner, got everyone together, and I was just like, hey, fellas, bump what everyone's talking about. Media, coaches, us as players. Let's just get down to just talking real quick about, the bigger picture of things, of what we're trying to do individually and collectively, because nowadays, I want everyone to get paid. And I hate how it's there's a stigma around it that you can't necessarily talk about it in a way. I mean, it's talked about, right? But there's a negative stigma, right? I think you guys can attest to it, where some locker rooms you get kind of annoyed because it's all players talk about. And I'm not saying it in that regards, but I'm saying that you want everyone to get paid. First and foremost, let's get that out of the way. We all know that. You're trying to get paid. I'm trying to get paid. That's why we're here. That's it. That's the foundation. Right now, what's next? we're all trying to win. Or if you're not trying to win, you need to win, because there's a guy on the other side that is a Hall of Famer that wants to win the bowl. So let's get on that same page with him. Like, so we got those two foundations, right? 3, we all like each other. So, and if we like each other, you're going to work your ass off. You're going to do what it takes. You're going to go out there and do everything you can to not let me down. And I'm doing the same thing. Those 3 things, if we're on the same page, we can go in the right direction. And I feel like I try to talk about it as much as possible. I try to show it too. I call players that have no idea I have their number. I'll get their number. I'll call them happy birthday in the offseason just to show, like, hey, this dude actually cares about my well-being. Or, hey, this dude shows love. Like, that's just who I am. Like, I really care about my teammates. I'm team first guy. I've always been. I think that's kind of why I've been underrated in my career, because I've always been about winning. But on the flip side, I know that people in the building, and a testament to Fitz is when I'm in the building, people know, and that carries weight, right? In a good way, and sometimes in a negative way. But I just toot to my own horn, because I know once I've left places, they've also had issues, right? And I think it's the championship mindset that I bring to the table. It's the winning plays that go unnoticed, right? It's things that don't show up on stat sheets where you're doing something for somebody else and they make a play, and it'll never, ever show up on PFF. We can go on a long tangent about that.
PFF, baby.
Oh, let's go.
We can go on all different things. I'll get a plus from the coaches, but in reality, they're game-changing plays. And I think the more I'm able to teach and show players that I've played with, like, hey, this is how you can do it, and this is how you can win and make money and get all the accolades and the things you want, the better off we're all going to be. Because if we win, then everybody gets paid.
Everybody
gets paid.
We talk about, like, glue guys and on some of these younger teams bringing in veteran guys, and Kyle's kind of always been that presence, but
all-time glue guy.
Hey, he's so grumpy in the morning.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
You can't talk to him before 9 a.m. Don't try to talk to him.
It's later than that, Fitz. I would say it's about like 10:30. Hey, at least I tell everybody, and I'm consistent.
Are you calling
guy?
Is this like we got to have my coffee, or is this
picture like Kyle Williams? Picture Kyle Williams coming in like,
all right,
just talking in grunts rather than like maybe 10 a.m. What breaks you out of that little mood that you get in every day, Kyle?
I don't know. I think it's just finally making the decision. I'm going to be a good guy today.
Okay.
It's changed. It's like my kids, right? When they wake up in a bad mood, it's like, all right, you're going to have to turn your attitude around. You're like, hey, you know what? At some point in the day, I got to hit the point where I go like, all right, I'm going to be nice to everybody.
Yes, exactly. I think it's just how it's been my whole life. And I think my dad, love him to death. He pisses me off sometimes. But when I was growing up, he is a morning person. He was up at 5 o'clock, like total old school, like 9 to 5 routine, the same. Everything's the same. Breakfast, the same, all that. This dude would get a spray bottle and would sit on the edge of my bed when I would want to sleep in and spray. So I would get up on Saturdays to do chores. I had to do chores before I had to do any of my sports. So, like, he would spray the bottle like, hey, if you don't do your chores or you don't do what you got to do, then there's no sports. So my ass would get sprayed with water for a good 30 minutes and then finally get up, get my chores done, and then go play whatever, sport I was playing. But that's funny.
I love that. You're giving me ideas now. I'm one of those. You would have hated me as a dad, Kyle. I'm a 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I go in my kids' room with music playing. I would be dancing, and they're just like, get out of my room, Dad. Like, get out of here. Like, my youngest daughter, me and her fight every morning because she's just like, why are you so happy? Get out of my room. I need my couple minutes to get my mind right before I get out of this bed because I'm pissed that I have to go to school.
Yeah,
I do that to my kids all the time.
But what I do respect Whit is people that are consistent every day.
Yeah.
Like if you're happy every day in the morning, I can rock with that because I know what you're going to get. It's the same thing with players that practice really hard all the time. Like you have some dudes that go hard every day, and at least you buckle your chin strap, and you might be pissed about it because you're getting late in the season. But hey, I know you're going to be like that every single day, so I respect that.
Oh, Kyle, that was an itch right there. You just scratched right there. Those are the dudes that piss you off. The dudes that show up and they're in a bad mood that day, and all of a sudden they pop you or like surprise you with a shot. You're just like, hey, bro, we will fight. We're gonna fight right now. Like, don't bring that shit out here, right? Oh my God!
But it's also the guy when you're running sprints and they don't run hard until the last
rep. They torch everybody on the last rep. Oh my God! Tension getters. Yes. You said something, Kyle, there though about leading and really, sometimes when you leave, you can tell there's an impact that you had in the locker room. What I think is cool is what you said too. Like for the young guys, not understanding that is that I think there's a real problem sometimes with this generation of understanding the difference between leading and being liked. And like now, don't get me wrong. There's not one or the other. There is guys that have the rare personalities that they're great leaders and they're awesome personalities and they're liked as well. But like you got to choose which one you're after because that is a totally different road. Like there is times I used to always use the quote, from Batman, you die the superhero or you live long enough to become the villain. Like that is a little bit what leadership is like. In the sense of, like I can sit here and like stand on things and lead you guys and say, hey, we have to do it this way. And sometimes you guys might not like me through it, but like I promise you, it's with the intention that I want everybody to be successful. Right? And I want all of you to get paid and to reach your best potential. And then I might be there long enough that like that may wear on you as a coach or anything else. Like you get tired of somebody who wants to always push the envelope to be better. And maybe you don't see eye to eye on that, but you always see the impact. And I can see that about you. When you talk about coming to Baltimore and really becoming that, what do you think's part of, like, I feel like you also had this resurgence in your career in Baltimore. What's been kind of attributed to that of just even your play, much less just your leadership?
Yeah, that's a really, really good conversation. I mean, we could go so many different ways. I'll just focus on the play part, then go into the leadership because I think a lot of it has to do with the play. For me, I've always had to do a lot of jobs, wear a lot of hats, from wearing the green dot to playing on the ball to playing off the ball. I was always kind of a tweener coming out of college. I rushed a lot. I never played middle linebacker till I got in the NFL. And it's kind of interesting because people want to label you a bust right off the get-go in today's media world. I was kind of on the cusp of what Twitter is, X, whatever Twitter, on the cusp of that blowing up. And so I was kind of like forced into this like, whoa, like, hey, like I got to get going because not only am I representing my family, but like I got pride. I don't want people to think I suck. And it's funny because I have, I wish I could bring it up and show you. I look all the time. There's a reporter out in Detroit that had a huge article that said I sucked, essentially. And I save it. And, a lot of people aren't wired like that to where they can read clippings or read and save stuff. And I saved all the stuff. I saved all the haters that said I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't be nothing.
What round were you drafted in Detroit?
I was drafted in second round, but I did get treated by like I was undrafted. That's my claim out there. Terrell Austin, who's having a good time with the Steelers. So good for him. Anyways, that gave me motivation to really learn and dive into the middle backer position, how to play it. I had a great two mentors, Stephen Tolick Schmelly, and then DeAndre Levy, all pro. And so watching them, how to be on the field, off the field, the professional level, how they approach the game. I'll never forget DeAndre Levy. Shout out him. One of my favorite teammates. His favorite play he ever made was breaking Joe Pa's leg when he was on Wisconsin. I love that.
Oh my gosh.
But that's hilarious. Whole nother story. This is good. But the one thing he kind of kind of took away a little bit, which I'm a little, but it also helped me be a way better player. Is I'll never forget, because I started on whatever it was, 8 games. Injured return back in the day, you had to sit out 7 games and then you could return the 8th. You know, there's the crazy rules now where you can come back in 4. But I started my rookie year hurt, came back, and I was like, let's go. You know, I'm all juiced playing. I'm like, let's have fun. This dude turns around and he looks like he's going to kill me about to. He's like, fun? You think this shit's fun? I was like, you're right. I'm not having fun. This ain't fun. Yeah. But I understand what he was saying, because this is a job. This is a workplace. This is my sanctuary. We take this serious. Like, there's livelihoods on the line, all these things. And that made me flip my whole mental aspect about football. And I took it way more serious from that point on. And now I do have a little jealous when I see young dudes out there having fun, hooting and hollering. But just my mindset is so focused and so ingrained now that it's made me play 12 years. But him and Tolik helping me play middle linebacker, learning the game that way. And then, you know, struggling. I struggled playing that role, that position. You know, I never had to talk in college. I got to just play dumb, line up, and go. And I always knew football. I always knew the X's and O's, so that helped me learn a little bit off the ball. But it was just so fast, so quick. You know, you have linemen moving up, trap blocks. I mean, I got my shit pushed in against the Jets in preseason. Bow, helmet came off because I didn't know what a trap was. It was just first time for everything. And it was just a rough process, but I stayed with it. And I'll never forget Calvin Johnson. I love that dude. He's like a top 5 teammate of mine. He, for some reason, always kind of kept an eye on me, always checked up in on me, still does to this day. Like, really appreciate him. And I don't know what it was. He just was always cool with me, always showed love, and he would always kind of just make fun and like, hey, you got something, like, keep at it. And he would make fun of how I ran. He doesn't think I pumped my arms fast enough. He still gives me shit about it. But him giving that installed me, like, I'm on the right page. Like, I'm doing the right stuff. Even though it's not benefiting right now, it's going to benefit when I get my true opportunity. That didn't happen until I got to New England. And, you know, I got to New England. I came kind of mental head case a little bit. Like, I was drafted 2nd round. I felt like I didn't get a fair opportunity, and, you know, guys there that were my old heads were like, you didn't, but you're going to ball there. And I was just like, well, this sucks, because I just was starting my 3rd year, get shipped off. They got Jamie Collins, Ninkovich, Hightower. Like, where am I going to play? Then they ship off a week later, Jamie Collins. I was like, oh, now I'm the most hated guy in the locker room, because that's everyone's dude. But all that work from, you know, the old heads that I watched to Calvin Johnson, all that preparation is when I got to New England, I hit the ground running, because I was able to play what Bill does best, which is play you in your strengths. I'm a mismatch on 3rd down because I can cover, I can drop, I can rush. And it allowed me to be me and allowed to showcase my skills. And then eventually getting confidence, learning how to be a leader. Had great players to look up to with Matthew Slater, obviously Tom Brady, Devin McCourty, Fitz helped me out a lot when I got to Miami, of things to say, not to say, to hold back, when to, you know, jump in and say your piece, and stand your ground, all those things. And so the leadership role has now came to the end in this season with the Ravens, right? And has really allowed me to finally say what I need to say, how I need to say it, and continue the journey to help these young guys understand that you can do it your way, but also if you put these type of things, you guys are going to be successful, because, you know, you're a reflection of me now too. Like, there's guys that I'm so proud of, like Andrew Van Ginkel, who eventually
the
Gink, who took my role in Miami, that I'm so proud about, because me and him got to go to the Pro Bowl last year together. And that's like that's like my little that's like my mentee. And so how proud I am of him and all that he's done in his career, and being able to give him some kind of love when it comes to football, to see him excel. And that makes me more proud of seeing other guys' careers than mine. Sorry, that was a long tangent.
No, that was cool. That was awesome.
Though.
That was great.
But speaking of being a proud dad, Kyle Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
Is he the best player in football? Tell me a little bit about Kyle Hamilton.
Best player in football. I got to give that to Myles Garrett right now. I mean, I really do. Myles Garrett, what he's doing is special. He's a freak. I think I said a couple weeks ago, I was like, how the hell did his mom give birth to him?
Yeah.
Because he's different.
Off the bus champion. I mean,
Yes.
off the bus,
100%.
like, there's nobody that's ever looked better than that dude walking off a bus. You're like, no chance of blocking that guy.
Yeah. I will put in Julius Peppers and Mario Williams.
Those Julius
dudes,
Peppers. I give you that one. Mario used to wear the contacts, too, the red contacts.
The red ones.
Yeah. Did it scare anybody? Did it scare you, Whit?
I was teammates with Mario.
I got a great contact.
You were teammates with everyone.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, Kyle, I got a good one for you on contacts. I was playing in Cincinnati. We played in Detroit. And if you guys remember Vanden Bosch, used to be an absolute maniac. Okay, so we're playing in the preseason, and he was dead. You talking about a dead serious dude. Dead serious guy. Preseason game, I'm thinking, man, I'm going to go walk up to this guy like 2 hours before the game, just say what's up. Like, hey, man, we're going to play each other, but it's only going to be 10 plays. Like, let's just, hey, man, like, let's get through it. Like me and DeMarcus Ware used to do. Hey, you run around deep, I'll chase you. It'll look great. So go up to Vanden Bosch just to say what's up. And he, like, literally is just like, don't fucking talk to me. Like, dead ass serious. He's got the contacts in already. He's already got his pads on and shit. And he was stretching. And I'm like, oh, shit, this dude, like, you just, like, came at me right there. I'm like, damn, it's a preseason game. So I go in the locker room. When I start rubbing the top of my head, all my teammates always knew, like, oh shit, Whit's rubbing his head like he's in a mood today. So we go after the game, we get a play action pass, and I get my freaking hands on this guy, and I'm like, all right, so this is young Buck Whit. So I was down to get down. So this is back in the ejection days. So I literally take him and I go and slam him at the end of this play action pass, and his contacts came out. And so he's running around on the ground, and he's like looking for his contacts. And I start talking shit. And I didn't talk shit, especially in the preseason. And I was so fucking hot. I'm like, yeah, where's your contacts at? Where's your contact? I route field. But hey, Kyle, smart. I was enough of a veteran. I knew that was my last series. So that was it. So I give him all the shit I had right in that moment, right? I talk all trash. I'm going over to the sideline to eat hot dogs and sip on Gatorade. So I was like, hey, never had to see the guy again. I still hadn't seen him to this point, but that was one of my favorite preseason moments ever. He wore the contacts too.
I love that.
So he lives in Arizona.
Oh, he does?
I know that because Kyle has twins.
He's coaching, right?
So he's helping coach. His son was a quarterback at Brophy, and his Brophy Prep in Arizona. His receivers were Darren Sharper's son, Donovan McNabb's son, and Larry Fitzgerald's son.
Oh, man, that's tough.
Yeah. So this was like just showing up to the game, and it's the who's who. Donovan's up there. I think he had a headset on. I usually sit with Larry.
Do you have a cup too?
His son. Yeah. But I think they're all seniors this year. So he'll be gone now. But he's coaching. He's spreading the wealth now.
I love that.
And
he's an
next time I see him, I'll ask him about
Ask him about his contacts. But let's get back to Kyle Hamilton. Talk to me about Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, that was awesome. I bet, real quick, it's pretty cool to have that many NFL dudes on one, kids on one team. That's got to be electric.
I don't know if you just saw Carson Palmer just won the California State Championship.
That was
TJ
dope.
Hushmanzada and like 4 or 5 other guys that all played in the league, helping him. So that's pretty cool too, I imagine.
That's smart. Hey, call up your boys. Hey, move out for 6 months. Let's just rock it for 1 year out at some shitty school and turn it into a state champ.
I love it.
Yeah. All right, Kyle Hamilton, man, I put him up there with the best of the best. He's different. I think what makes him special is he's so mature beyond his years. Like, he plays like he's a 12-year vet. He plays like a crash out like you want. He's athletic as hell. He's smart. He's tough, physical. can cover receivers, can play the half, deep third, can play any position. He could play nose tackle and figure it out. He really could. He's different like that, and he's super humble. I don't even think he knows how good he is yet. I know he thinks he's good, but I'm like, you are that dude. Like there ain't many better than you, or you could arguably go down as one of the best, if not the best, if you keep it up week in, week out, year after year. I know it's early to say, and I'm hyping him up a lot, but it's well-deserved because he's that good. He's a difference maker. You can see when he's out of the lineup, when he's in the lineup, what he does. I mean, last year when we were struggling, you put him in the back end, those problems go away. This year, we needed him closer to the box, being a crash out, and he's helped us out in more ways than you can imagine. And I just think his presence, he has that aura on a football field. There's a couple defenders that have that in the NFL. He's up there with Myles, Garrett, and Fred Warner, where you can just feel him. It's like this weird feeling where it's like, where the hell is he at? You know? Those are the players you want to play with, that's for sure, because it helps your job be a little bit easier because you're not getting looked at all the time. But I do think he's special. I hope he continues to be special. I think it's just going to come down to taking care of his body and how long he wants to play for.
I'm curious, looking at your body of work, the quarterbacks that you've played with.
Ooh, I've been lucky.
I mean, we're not gonna, there's one of them I don't want to talk about, so I'd rather ask about the other two.
Why not?
That's the one I want to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No, I got no interest talking about that guy. Let's talk about how he's doing in Vegas right now. Is he part of that or no?
He has to be a little bit. Has to be.
No,
is anybody still worried about the headset? Or
since they've been losing, I feel like he's kind of removed himself.
He's just darted out the room.
He's in the Bahamas. He's in the Bahamas now.
We'll see you next year.
My guy's in Fox, bro.
Yeah, Chip
right.
Kelly? No, that wasn't me. Matthew Stafford. I'm curious about Matthew Stafford. You played with him in Detroit.
More issues than Chip Kelly, though.
Yeah, I think so too. Give us your take on Matthew Stafford and how special of the guy he is.
Yeah, love Matthew. Love competing against him. Loved being his teammate. True master of like passing the football. I mean, he's mastered every angle. He's the one that started that. I would say it goes with him and you. I think you've been underrated in your career with the arm angles. Shout out to Fitz Magic. But
thank you.
Yeah, I think Stafford has mastered that art. I think it's allowed guys like Patrick Mahomes and the arm angles that you see now get super heightened. But Matthew started that. He started the no-look passes. I can't tell you how many times he got me in practice.
It's so good, isn't it?
It's so good.
Unbelievable.
It's so good. Like, and then you flip him off after he gets you.
He's got that little smirk on his face.
Yeah, he does have that smirk. The little cocky smirk he does. But I'm happy for him. I think he's the MVP this year. I know he didn't have his best performance against the Panthers, but then came back and willed his team to be even in the game at the end. That's just kind of the player he has. They're never out of it, especially with him at the helm. I'd be interested to know how was he in trade talks this last offseason? Like, I don't get it. And you know more than I do, but like, what are we watching? Like the GM, I don't know if it's McVay. I don't know who it is over there, but like, I don't care if he's 37, 38, whatever. Buddy can play. Like I know people get into the age thing and all that, and cool, whatever. But can you imagine if they traded him this offseason and he's doing what he's doing now?
Oh no,
they're so lucky. They're so lucky.
You can't ask Whit these questions. He's too close.
He's not going to say. He's not going to break.
No.
Plead the fifth with the cup.
No, I wouldn't plead the fifth. I would say this: if you remember, actually going back to the year before, he had a contract that was basically like he was ready to get paid more. He felt like he wanted to bump up in his salary, and so they kind of had that going into camp situation. And I think this last year, it was like, hey, I think him and Sean both kind of sat down and were like, hey, we don't want to do that whole deal again. Like, let's get this done in January, February, whatever. Like, let's not be doing this in August where it's like, are you coming to camp? Are you not? Can we figure out your contract? Blah, 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 blah. And so I think that really, what it really stemmed from was, hey, if you think that there's this value that you have that's way higher than what we're, saying we want to pay you, like go out there and shop yourself to those teams and see what that value is, and then if you really think that that's something that's more important to you than what we're offering, then let's talk about it. Right. And so I think it was more of a true, like him and Sean, because they've gotten so close. You got to imagine they won a Super Bowl together. They've had a lot of success. And it's like, hey, dude. Yeah, it's like they're friends. Like it's like, hey, if that's what's going to make you happy, then let's figure it out. If it's here, then here's what it is. For us to be able to build the kind of team around you that we think is a Super Bowl contender. And I think what's awesome is they found their resolution, and they are a Super Bowl contender. It's a legit 100%. Football team, and they've been able to build a lot of talent around him. And sometimes those conversations are uncomfortable. I mean, I know even for me and Sean were boys, and I'm trying to figure out how to renegotiate deals there. And it's awkward because it's like, hey, man, that's my dude. I hang out with you all off season. We vacation together, but we're also talking about my livelihood and how I butter my bread, So that stuff can get contentious. I don't know many contract things that don't get that way. Let's just put it that way.
One more thing before we get back to the quarterbacks. Do you feel like organizations are tripping when it comes to quarterbacks like that being available, of not throwing Lamar Jackson? You can put him in there, Matthew Stafford from last year, however you want to see fit. Do you think organizations are tripping of not jumping on it, especially when some have been in quarterback purgatory for long periods of time? And I know all these GMs want to be the one to find a quarterback, or this is a dude that is a seasoned vet that is very capable of changing your organization, and you're not even going to give a offer or a whiff. I think it's crazy.
I do too. And I think, even Sam Darnold and kind of what Minnesota's going through right now, but I think there's a couple different categories. One of the reasons is age. Like everybody wants the young next, gunslinging. But the way that these guys are playing now, like Matthew, he had his back issues in the preseason, but it's like how long do you want to play? Like these guys can play kind of with the new rules and not getting hit as much, and that longevity.
Oh, not getting hit. Oh my gosh. I got fined this year for that. Some bullshit.
What'd you do? You put your weight on somebody?
Flacco.
Put your weight on somebody's body?
Flacco.
This is football. You can't put your weight. And he's 40.
Don't hurt Joe.
Yeah,
why would you hurt Joe?
He's 6'4". He's 6'5", 240. We got to lay the wood.
He's bigger than a lot of rushers.
But that's the thing. And, you guys might be friends with Jordy. I ain't friends with Jordy.
Jordy Nelson handing out the fines?
He's the new guy laying the law.
Well, this is going to get you fined again.
It's right.
No, it's not. It's over.
No, Jordy, I'm sure he watches the podcast. I'm sure
he loves the Fitz and Whit podcast. It's like John Runyon, right? Like he used to be one of the nastiest, dirtiest O linemen in the league,
Derek
and now he hands out the fines. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, they're good. I actually like Derek Brooks. He was my favorite player growing up.
He's awesome, dude. Great dude.
I friggin' when I was in one with him, I was like, Derek, you're the best. Like you're the reason why I play football. Blah 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 blah. Try to sugar him up. He's like, nah, because they were doing the weight on the quarterback, and I got fined during preseason. He was like, hey, sorry, bud, this stands. Didn't work.
Oh, my gosh.
Preseason.
Speaking of that, Kyle, who was somebody you looked up to? Like when you're coming up and you're watching the league, like what were the guys? Who were your guys?
That's a good question. Honestly, I didn't really like football like that. I did watch it, but I didn't love it like I do now. Like I can truly say I'm a sicko and love football. But guys that I tried to watch their game is just a wide variety. Clay Matthews was a big one. Von Miller, because he was undersized. He was like the new undersized rusher. So I kind of wanted to be that in college. And then other guys from Troy Polamalu who just made plays. Ed Reed, because he just made plays. And then receiver-wise, Tampa Bay Bucks, that was my team. So Derek Brooks, Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp.
My first NFL snap at left tackle, Simeon Rice. That's how old I am.
That's a long day. Bring your lunch pail.
Hey, here's the best part, Kyle. We're in Tampa. Our left tackle, who just got paid an extension, gets hurt on the third play of the game. And they like send me in the game, and I guess because I was a rookie, they're like, you know what, Steinbach, you go to left tackle. You're going to play left tackle, and so he goes in at left tackle at first, and I go into left guard. I'm sitting in the huddle. It's a TV timeout, and we're waiting on Levi's like getting, he's going inside the locker room, and my O-line coach is making all these freaking movements down on the sideline. I'm like, what is he talking? He looks pissed. I'm like, I hadn't even taken a snap yet. And so I just assumed, I'm the young guy, I'm playing guard, Steinbach's going to play left tackle. And Carson's like on his headset, and he's like, Whit, Paul Alexander said, get your ass at left tackle like you're not playing guard. And I was like, oh, shit, I got to go against Simeon Rice? So I literally like just move over, waddle, lineman, we just waddle. I waddle over to the left tackle spot, and Steinbach gets at left guard, and my heart rate went up about 10,000 beats because I was like, oh, shit, I'm in Tampa, and I'm playing Simeon Rice today. I'll say this. I survived without giving up a sack. It was not pretty. Okay, It was ugly. It was
a lot of
fall
pressures.
Down. You're looking at the ref to make sure he didn't throw a flag after every snap. I tackled him. I tackled him again. I did. But, hey, it was run around and tackle this dude. If I could just keep him from the quarterback, that was the only goal. I was playing basketball at that point. That was it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Just don't let him dunk.
Kyle, do you know Garrett Bowles at all?
Yeah, I do.
Dude, we had him on last week.
You had him on last week. He's different.
What an incredible story.
Different.
He's different.
He's different.
It was an incredible story, though. Listening
he's over here, and then he's here.
Yeah, but he's also a man of routine.
Oh, yeah.
Man has an awesome routine.
Yeah.
He has a
and
very
that's why
beautiful voice.
He's been successful. I mean, I know he went through the shits at the beginning of his career, and then now he's considered one of the best left tackles in the game. I think it just shows his resiliency. And that dude loves ball, and he loves like his family. He you can tell he loves ball. Like he eats, breathes, sleeps football. Like I've enjoyed getting to know him over the years, especially like I got him when we played him last year. I rushed a lot on the against the right tackle, and then inside that game, and then in the fourth quarter, I knew he was tired, so I went against
That's
him. And
mean.
I know, and I got him. It was a blowout too, and I got his ass, and so he saw me in the off season and gave me a hug, and he was like squeezing me. He was like, you think I forgot? You think I forgot that? You think
scary man.
You're on his board in his room.
know,
Trust me, that guy's got a board in his room. He's jotting some things down about you. I guarantee you.
Yeah, but great guy. Awesome interview, by the way. But I do want to get back to your original questions about the quarterbacks, because I do have to mention a couple of good ones that I've played with. Obviously, Matthew, and then Lamar, who I'm playing with, should be MVP 3 times. That's another conversation. But I just think his growth in how I don't get, and I don't think he gets enough credit from what people said coming out of college of being a running back, a receiver, how disrespectful that is. And then to see him now and see the plan that him and his mom had, and kind of proving that him and his mom were right this whole time, and that there's 32 teams that were wrong during that process, and how if you really believe in someone and channel all your energy as an organization, truly buy into the development process, that you can really see people play at a high level like Lamar has done. And I think, you see that all around the league in the quarterback positions, from Baker Mayfield to Sam Darnold, different guys like that. Geno Smith, who they reinvented themselves when they had an organization that really bought into what they were doing, where their strengths were, and getting guys around them to be successful. Another guy, obviously, I have to talk about is who I think is the GOAT. Sorry, Fitz.
Did you play with Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the argument Fitz always brought up, right, was he's never gone to another organization and, helped another organization.
That's what I said?
Yes.
That's bull.
Yes.
Oh, hell no.
Anyway,
the argument I always brought up was
no. Hold on.
Peyton Manning got hurt and they went 1-15. Go ahead. Keep going. Matt Castle, they went 11-5.
Anyways, to me, he's amazing. I think awesome player when it comes to mastering the competitiveness as well as the machine. The offense is a machine, and you can just know from when you get to practice, the machine is getting revved up and you better be ready to go. And the same thing he did in games is you had to be ready to go. And that's everybody on the football field, from the head coach to the defense, to the opposing team's offense. You better be ready to go against the machine. And I just think he mastered that level, and he's obviously the best. Now, Fitz, I always feel like Fitz is underrated when it comes to playing quarterback. I also think he can scare you because he's a gunslinger and doesn't care if he throws 3 picks, because he could throw 5 touchdowns and then be laughing and hooting and hollering in your face. And you can't teach that, because a lot of kids would fold and break down, especially going around and bouncing around. And I think it should be even heightened to awareness of what Fitz did at the quarterback position at multiple teams. I felt like he got screwed in Miami. That's a whole nother conversation. They had obviously, I think it was the next year, the 4th pick in the draft. So they needed to see if Tua was going to be that guy coming off a hip injury. I guess they saw enough during that process. But, Tua, I think he has elite accuracy. I still think he can continue to get better. It's still too early to obviously give his projections. But Justin Herbert, I know you guys love lightning bolts and all those things.
How do you remember that?
Fitz had lightning bolts all over my Twitter just for about most of the season last year.
Because Fitz was new to Twitter, so he got lightning bolts for days and is on Mount Rushmore. But I think Justin has, to me, as all the quarterbacks that are in the league still, I truly believe he still has the most potential. I really believe that. I'll stand on that because I've witnessed it, his work ethic. I've seen it. The dude's different. I just think, I said stuff in the offseason that for whatever reason went crazy. Is I think there's other things in his game that he can also get obsessed with, which is like, building the relationships with teammates. And I feel like he does do a good job of that. I just feel like if you want to go to that next level, you got to be on point on every scenario, from the relationship part to the practice, which he's got down, to the film, which he's got down. I just think he can, if you want to be amongst the best of the best, all of those have to be aligned. Tom Brady, he did all those things when it comes to hanging out, to all those things. Matthew Stafford, he hangs out with everybody. He's cool with everybody. It's just, that's what it takes to be the quarterback. Lamar Jackson can, he obviously still is in his process of getting where he wants to go too, but his relationship building, what he's done, where when I'm in the building, he hangs out with everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a practice squad dude or you're Derrick Henry, like he hangs out with everyone. It's just, I think Justin has the highest ceiling of all the quarterbacks. I really do. Him and Joe Burrow.
To add to that, the toughness part, I think, is a big part of playing quarterback. And Justin broke his hand yesterday. And what did he do? He left the game for one series and came back in, and now he's getting surgery on his hand today.
Oh, it's sick.
That dude, the amount of toughness that he's displayed over the course of his career, that's one thing where I'm like, we can check that box.
Yeah,
he's got that.
And it's kind of disrespectful that during his process coming out, he was labeled kind of soft because he went to Oregon, played in that spread offense, he doesn't talk, he's quiet. I obviously haven't been in the locker room now with him for a couple years, and I'm sure he's way different and it has grown tremendous. But that was just something in my time with him that he could have gotten better, which I'm sure he has. And you can see it because he shows emotion after he scores touchdowns. Funny story about him, when we were in 7-on-7, Fitz will tell you when I'm having a slow start to my day in practice, to get me going, I sometimes have to talk shit. So like 7-on-7 comes, if Kyle is having a little slow day, I'll start chipping in 7-on-7, and going against Herbert one day, I was like, I was having a little rough day, real rough morning. I think practice was at 9 a.m., a little early for me. So I had to get going, and I'm chirping at Justin like, oh, that's one, because you have like 7 plays or 10 plays in a 7-on-7, and so it gets competitive, and I'm counting every single one of them, and then Justin hit this switch that I haven't seen, and he's zipping them like he kind of pinpointed me and is like zipping the ball right next to me, and he's like, yeah, that's one, and I ain't never seen this from Justin. I was like, in my back of my head, I'm like, hell no, he's coming at me, but like, hell yeah, like
that's awesome.
It's working. And I just think if he continues to bring that type of energy and juice, I think there's not many people that can stop him on a football field.
Well, I also think, to your point about him, I mean, think about right now what we do with these quarterbacks when they start losing guys. I mean, this guy lost his 2 best players up front for the year, for the most part. Only had Joe Alt for like 4 or 5 games, and has just continued to like ball and put up numbers.
And
I think it's
he's
impressive.
Getting smacked too.
I mean, and he's getting crushed, and he just keeps standing back there and playing. I think this is one of those years to me this season, regardless of how their season finishes out. This is one of those years. Yeah, hey, oh boy, he will end this year with a ton of respect across the league.
That helps.
It does. Hey, listen,
Kyle,
we all need inspiration, baby. We all need inspiration.
That's funny.
That's great.
I haven't changed, Fitz. I haven't changed.
I know you haven't. What's this? Tell us about the KVN show.
Yeah, it's just something that I wanted to still dabble in a little bit. It's not a podcast. It's a TV show. It's about 20 minutes of airtime of just recapping games that I've played in. It's obviously better to do games winning than losing. And it was tough. It was a tough stretch, 1-5. People wanted my head. Crazy, Can't have 20
Makes
minutes
it harder
to myself.
talk about.
Yeah. But we battled through, and I think true fans are enjoying it because it's getting insight, kind of like what Draymond has done to the NBA. I think it's awesome what Draymond's done, being able to talk about games after he plays and kind of dives into it. And I've been able to do that with my TV show, being able to give in-game analysis after the game with fans. And it's been fun just talking shop about, plays after games, the highs and the lows, the difference making in games, and just kind of diving into it, and just want to bring back, they're still out there, but just integrity to, the broadcasting, and not just being all hot takes, and which you guys do a great job of. I love your guys' show. I think you guys have the best show out there when it comes to Thursday night on Prime. You guys have a great cast from y'all compliment each other. You guys do a great job, and you guys have integrity. And I think that's authentic. I think that's why it's successful, and you guys do a great job. So I watch you guys, so I appreciate that.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. That was awesome.
I'm curious with the show, though, and you talking about specific plays and moments and things. If I was still playing, I would be nervous, like the relationship with the head coach. Is it something you talked to Harbaugh about, and what were his feelings, or what are his feelings?
No,
on
I actually haven't talked to anyone about it. No one's brought it up to me. No one's talked about me in that regards. I think I'm respectful when it comes to it. I don't give any information that isn't already knowledge or that's over the top. I give the best analysis while also keeping the team, being respectful to the team, because I'm still obviously employed by them. So that's number one. I'm respectful. I work hard. I just take 20 to 30 minutes after I'm done playing a football game to talk shop on my own time, no one else's time. And I don't say anything that's obviously hot taking. I'm saying nothing, but what my analysis and what I think is truth. And I'm able to, back it up when it comes to, if anyone has a question, I'm able to answer it. I've also had people in the building say they watch it. So that's been cool, because I'm like, awesome. I appreciate it, because you wouldn't have said that to me if if you felt like I was doing a bad job, representing the Ravens or representing your guys' organization. So I appreciate that. And I'm really respectful when it comes to the relationship with players. I try to let them know, hey, is this cool to talk about? At the same time, I don't want them to feel like I'm just a veteran media guy. I definitely don't want that. Like, I'm ball first. Everyone knows that. Everything else is second. It's always been like that. Anyone that knows me knows I love ball, and that's how it's always going to be.
Do you see that as when you retire, that's something you want to do, is have obviously some guys, like, they want to get on and be a part of something like what we're doing, or, some want to create their own thing. Do you see that as like you'd love to create like your own version of what you think a show would be and stuff like that when you're done? Yeah,
I think it would be cool down the line to do something like that. I do believe that I would like to learn more about the business before I just dive into it. At the same time, I might just dive into it and learn at the same time. I'm just keeping my options open. I still feel like I have a lot of juice left to give. I know this year has been kind of challenging when it comes to my stats, but I still feel like I'm making winning plays and, still getting after the quarterback. I mean, what teams have been doing with these max pros and chips have been insane. It's funny, I kind of warned Draymond Jones when he got traded. I was like, you about to see stuff you ain't never seen before. And then after the Bengals game, he was like, damn, bro, obviously they're protecting Joey B coming back off his injury, but they have 89 sample back there chipping and Max Pro. It's kind of crazy.
Did they have Gesicki back there chipping?
Oh, hell no. Mike,
he's going out. Actually, you get out of here. You go run a route. Don't hear anybody.
Mike hasn't blocked anybody. Oh, you know what's funny is I will say Mike blocked me last year, Fitz, on a cut. He cut me, and then he apologized. He was like, because he knew I was going to get angry. He kind of came up. He was like, hey, I had to. My coach said I had to. Like, don't do anything. I'm like, I'm about to see you later.
But, nah. Mikey G.
You going to tell him about the story about the guy that stole the car?
Wait, what?
Who's the security guy in Miami?
Drew Brooks.
Drew. Drew, when he had the video of one of our teammates' car getting stolen, and Mike comes and he looks at us and he's like, this really happens?
He's naive. He's still naive, man.
Gosh. I wanted to slap him. Mike G. Come on. I love Mikey G. Good dude.
We also had... Yeah, I thought you were going to say the security footage.
He's a dad?
Yeah, I met Cooper. He's a dad, man.
Fitz went and saw him.
Good for you.
I was going to say, though, so our 2020 Miami team, fun. It was fun, man. For all the shortcomings and everything else, like, it was a great team. It was a really close team. And
young, too.
I remember.
Super young.
Yeah, you
feisty.
do. You had a bad. That was a great game.
That was the old. Wait, we could have won if we just punted every play instead of.
That was Tua's first start, Kyle.
Yeah. We could have just kneeled it out.
Sack,
we could have kneeled
AD.
it out. Oh my God! Just kneel it out.
That's a welcome to the NFL moment.
So I got benched, and I mean, I'm not bitter about it, because it's not like I lit up San Francisco and then beat the Jets 24-0 and went into the bye week. But
yeah, shouldn't be bitter at all.
It was a low point for me in my career in terms of like how close I felt with all those dudes on the team. And in 2019, everything we fought through to get to where we were in 2020, and then adding guys like yourself and Teddy and a bunch more through the draft. But it was COVID too, so it was awkward. I was living in a hotel, and I get benched, and I give my press conference, and first guy that calls me, Kyle Van Noy, calls me up. He says, I'm coming over. And I'm like, no, I don't want to see anybody. He's like, I'm coming over. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I want to be by myself and whatever. He didn't take no for an answer. He came over. We sat in the little restaurant, and we talked for 2.5 hours. And it's something I'll always remember, man.
That's
how
awesome.
special that was, and how much, I just needed somebody at that point, acting like I didn't want anybody, but to share that with you was super special, and you'll always be special in my heart from that moment on, man. So I appreciate it.
You. I'll tell you, probably the backstory of why I do that with people that I care about, because it's easy to be there when things are going well. It's hard to be there when things aren't going well. I learned that lesson when I was 17. I actually got arrested 3 times before I went to college. And everybody, when I tell people, are like, what? You know? But then they can see it too. Anyways, not many people came to help me when I was low. And I always remember that. Like, hey, if you're ever in this situation and you see somebody you care about, don't be that guy to say, I didn't want to bug you. I didn't want to reach out to you. Reach out to them. Show up. I don't care what it does, like what it takes. You know, I that's just what I believe, you know, because you never know what people are going through. And, you know, I know some people don't want to get obviously too involved, but if there's somebody out there that you truly care about and respect as a person, show up for them. It's just the right thing to do. And so I that's how I live my life. Like, I've been to the lows of the lows, and I know no one else was there except, you know, my parents at the time. But I wish some people showed up for me and that didn't, but that grew my whole perspective differently at a young age, that, hey, if somebody you care about is going through something, show up for them.
That's awesome, dude.
Well, thank you, Kyle. You're the man. You're a great teammate, great player, and a great human being, man.
Amen.
And thanks. Most of the time.
No, see, you've grown. See, you have a growing mindset.
He's
you know,
matured.
so
Yeah.
it took a third arrest for you to figure it out, but you got it.
Hey,
you know.
third time's a charm.
Yeah.
But thank you for taking time out of your. I know you're busy, so thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us, brother.
Thanks for not asking the details either.
We'll save that
we
for
left that alone.
episode 2.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, guys. No, honestly, before I get off, keep doing what you guys are doing. I truly believe there needs to be more guys that are not in the media space, but just former NFL players that are doing what you guys do on a consistent basis, where you guys are just oozing positivity. You know, we're in such a negative world and a negative kind of, you know, talking trash about the generation below. It's not as good. It's not as tough, blah, blah, whatever. But I just want to commend you guys for always giving people flowers. It's kind of how I do it. And I just want to give you guys your flowers. Like, I've always respect both of you from not only how you guys play, but how you guys are off the field with your family and your kids. I think you guys are great dads. Keep doing that and keep showing love like you always do. And I know more good things are coming for you guys.
Appreciate it, brother.
Right. Awesome.
Sounds good, brother.
Awesome.
All right.
See you guys. Thanks.
Hey, Whit, do you remember what we were talking about the other day?
About how seeking healthcare isn't always just about physical health?
No, I was actually thinking about the Lane Kiffin decision, but you've piqued my interest. Go on.
Well, seeking healthcare, Fitz, also impacts how people show up at work, in relationships, and with themselves.
And in the conversation we were having about this, did you tell me how these people could regain confidence and start feeling like themselves again?
I definitely did. Roe makes it simple to get started in your health search with their free insurance checker to help people regain confidence and start feeling like themselves again, Fitz.
I knew that sounded familiar, Whit.
Yes, Roe's insurance checker lets you know if you're covered for GLP-1s for free. No paperwork, no hassle, no waiting on hold.
And you know how I hate waiting on hold.
Yeah, you have zero patience. But if you decide to move forward, Roe can help you understand if GLP-1s like Ozempic and Wegovy are right for you and your goals. But that's just the beginning.
What are you implying, Whit?
Oh, Fitz, don't worry about it. Join the over 1 million people who've trusted Roe to check their coverage for free. Go to ro.co/Whit for your free insurance check. That's ro.co/Whit to see if your insurance covers GLP-1s for free.
Go to ro.co/safety. That's ro.co/safety for boxed warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. Oh, big thank you to Kyle Van Noy for joining us. What a dude. Really is like one of the best teammates I've ever had. Thanks to Roe for sponsoring this next segment. Whit, it's time for you to tell all the people who had this week's Big Whit Energy. Big Whit Energy.
Big Whit Energy this week, Fitz. There was a couple Big Whit moments. All right, I don't know if you saw the Tampa game. I think you did.
I did.
Tristan Wirfs, baby. I mean, come on. Anytime a big fella gets a touchdown, we got to acknowledge it. He's not going to be our Big Whit Energy guy, but Tristan, shout out, brother. That was an awesome play. You caught the rock. That was kind of similar to mine. Wide open, soft toss. Hey, you know what? Don't let him take away from our shine, okay? It's a touchdown nonetheless.
I saw something that was like, it was debating who the heaviest Tampa Bay Buccaneer ever was to catch a touchdown, because I think Vita Vea maybe scored a touchdown too. So who do you think is heavier of those two? I think Vita Vea is 350.
I was going to say, I think Vita Vea is bigger. I think Tristan's probably one of those guys that's lighter than he looks. That'd be my guess.
Have you seen his? I mean, look at his lower half, though. That is a big man.
Big man. Our Big Whit Energy of the week is going to go to Ed Ingram, the right guard of the Houston Texans. I don't know if you've seen this play, but he catches Colts linebacker.
The guy got off his.
Oh my gosh, decleat. Anytime you get a decleater, you definitely deserve to be called out, because sometimes, it's about big moments. It's about great efforts. And then when you get something like that where you're going to go viral for absolutely decleating the guy, and shout out to the Houston Texans, who Fitz said when they were 0-3 that they were going to go to the playoffs. And I said you were crazy based off of the stats, which I'll pull up the NFL history stats here soon. And no chance. And they have got themselves in contention. And Ed Ingram, baby, well done. Big Whit Energy of the week. Houston Texans, shout out, baby, on a roll.
They are on a roll right now. And, at the beginning of that game, I was a little disappointed in C.J. Stroud. He started a little bit slow.
A slow start.
It was a slow start, but when you have an elite defense, it allows you to have a slow start and kind of feel it out and get into the game. But C.J. Stroud, we still need more. We still need more out of him if this team's going to go where they can potentially go, because this is a Super Bowl winning defense for sure. The way that they get after the passer, the way they cover on the back end, how physical they are, how they fly around. So we need a little bit more out of C.J. Stroud in that offense, but they are in prime position right now, and it looked very dire when they're 0-3 to make the playoffs. Is there any chance they can win the AFC South?
I think there's a chance. I mean, I said this the other day. You look at the Colts really scheduled to finish this thing, Fitz. They've got a challenge every week they're going to have to be at their best. And you look at Houston, what would you want to have in the month of December? An insane defense. And, if they're healthy and can play defense like this, we've said it, the offenses have struggled a little bit down this stretch here. And I don't know that every week you're going to sit here and say that the Texans aren't going to be in one-score games. And if they can find the way to win a bunch of one-score games, they've got a chance to get themselves right back in this thing. And then Jacksonville, now the new leaders in that division. Think of the wave they've been on, how they started the season to what it looked like in the middle of it to now being atop the division. This division, I think, is going to get fun, because I think it's going to be interesting to think what we all thought of the Colts and how cool a story that was to how can they finish, especially with Daniel Jones playing injured.
Yeah, and to your point of Daniel Jones playing injured, when you watch that game, he got sacked early in that game, and he is holding that leg up. He does not want that leg to hit the ground. You know that he's in pain. He's certainly a little hobbled on his drops. And, when he actually is throwing the ball, it doesn't look like it affects him, but it certainly has a little bit more of an effect that maybe they're leading on. And then, the formula of let's stop all those huge explosive plays by Jonathan Taylor and see what can happen. This is about to get really interesting. I think we're about to see what Shane Steichen's got in him, if he is a great football coach, and I think that he is. Your guy, Liam Cohen. It's going to get really interesting. The fact that Jacksonville is on top right now after the Colts starting the year 7-1 is a bit of a shocker, but Houston certainly knocking on that door.
Yeah, and I think Shane Steichen, Liam Cohen, D'Amico Ryans, this is fun. Some fun guys, some interesting, all in their different way, the passion and energy and how it comes out. I think it's going to be fun to kind of watch this division shake out at the end here.
Yeah, and I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Cam Hayward. Thank you, Cam Hayward, for talking trash to Josh Allen. You ignited something. You helped him turn that switch on during the game. It was fun to watch. And Whit, I don't know. I saw a quote from TJ Watt, like the Bills just ran the same play over and over and over and over again. And the Pittsburgh Steelers could not stop James Cook. And, you think about the Bills had their backup right tackle, their backup left tackle in, and they had a historic rushing performance at Acrisure Stadium. It just doesn't happen. I never thought I'd see the day where the front of the Steelers would get dominated like that in the run game at home.
There's no doubt. James Harrison now has a podcast, and I am actually looking forward to his breakdown this week, because he went off, just a little, maybe last week, about really the identity and what being a Pittsburgh Steeler meant. And I was listening to every word because I lived it, and I know what he means, and I know the violence and the fear. I mean, legitimately the fear that those guys struck into teams when they came to Pittsburgh to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Listen, as we always say in the locker room, like, you knew, because the whole coaching staff, it just felt like assholes got real tight that week, and everyone was on nerves and energy changed, and you're like, oh shit, like they're worried about playing the Steelers. Like, they struck fear into people, and that defense is long gone. And unfortunately, that is not the case in Pittsburgh anymore. And anytime a team walk in there and do something like that, man, that is something that's tough, man. That's getting attacked right at you. You know what's coming, and we don't care that you know it. We're going to show you that we're just better. That's a tough pill to swallow the next day, and it's going to be interesting to see where their energy goes, because it doesn't get any easier, Fitz. Here comes the Baltimore Ravens, playing for a division lead. You got to lick your wounds and say, all right, let's go back and find a way to play our style of football, because this team, Baltimore, they're going to come after you the same way.
I want to talk about our Thursday night football game this week. Now, we have two teams that played on Thanksgiving, so they get the full week's worth of rest, which I know John Gruden's going to be happy about, since he complains about it every Thursday.
John, whiner. Come on, John.
You're such
Don't be a
whiner, John.
Come
You've
on,
been on the podcast before. Why are you shitting on us, John?
Yeah,
Jeez.
don't shit on us, John.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys are back, baby. They look really good. They look tough on offense. What do you, I know obviously we've got the offensive firepower, but their defense has had a big turnaround too. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I think, you said this before, but we talk about it all the time. I think sometimes, we forget the word belief, confidence, and how much they actually mean, especially in NFL football, because when you think about it, that window of games that you have, we talk about, man, if you start 0-2 or you get to this point in the season, it's like your chances of making the playoffs, you're all playing for that opportunity to go chase the opportunity to win a Super Bowl, right? Everybody starts talking in April, man, we're going to win the Lombardi. We're going to win a Super Bowl this year. Like, we're going to make every decision possible to do that. And when you start to lose that belief, you see it in football teams. And that's why I think in the month of December, we're going to see wild finishes, because there's teams out there that have either put themselves in a position where the playoffs is inevitable. There's teams out there that maybe don't have a chance to get in the playoffs, but they're trying to fight for their jobs. So there's a certain energy they're going to play with, and you better be ready to combat it. And then there's teams that are on that, our season could go either direction, and maybe they're in that verge of we don't believe or we do. The Cowboys are one of those teams where, hey, maybe the thing didn't start how we wanted. We've added some pieces, Quentin Williams being obviously a massive part of that. There is just a different energy and confidence to who they are on this 3-game win streak. And since the bye week, they have really shown there's a belief. And then obviously we know the terrible situation with what happened to Marshawn Nealon, and you see teams rally in those moments. I've been on a team where we lost a teammate in the middle of the season, and really just when you start to really put things in perspective and realize how much all those guys mean to you in a locker room, and how much it means to have the opportunity to go out on a football field and chase your dreams. Sometimes those moments, even in the massive disappointment and sadness of everything that went around it, can really inspire people to live the biggest they can in the moments they have and take advantage of their opportunities. And I think that's something you're seeing in this Cowboys team. There's added players and belief from that standpoint. And there's, man, you know what? This game, like, we're blessed to be able to be here together. We're blessed to be able to sit here in this locker room and have each other. Like, let's not let it go by the wayside. Let's take advantage of every day. And they look like a team to me that believes in each other. They're fighting for one another, and they're wanting to just seize every opportunity they got. So this is a dangerous football team for the Detroit Lions, who are also looking for their belief in their season, coming off a season where they won 14 games last year.
Yeah, and I think Brian Schottenheimer, we got to start including him in some of these conversations for Coach of the Year, especially if they finish the year the way it seems like they're going to finish, because I could tell you there aren't a lot of teams that want to play the Dallas Cowboys right now. And I thought the interesting thing watching the games on Sunday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday was just it seemed like a lot of offenses are struggling right now. Yeah. And the firepower that the Dallas Cowboys have on the outside and the run game, you talked about in our call this morning with TNF, their offensive line and how this kind of starting to look like an offensive line of old with the Dallas Cowboys and how they're playing. But just watching the film, you can tell, you talked about that belief word, how fast they're playing on defense and running to the ball. It pops out on film, and it's really impressive to see. George Pickens is playing on another level right now. And one of the things you start to notice when you watch, and Detroit loves playing man coverage, the teams that are playing man coverage against the Cowboys, a lot of times they're leaning that safety to George Pickens. And what does that mean? CeeDee Lamb is going to have a heyday because he's also a number one receiver, and he had a big day versus the Chiefs. And a lot of that was they left him one-on-one with no safety help, and Dak is playing at a level right now, the way he's processing, the way he's giving these guys chances. I love their offense and their system, not just relying on 11 and throwing the ball all over the yard. The run game's still a big component. 12 personnel, 21 personnel. They're all still big components of what they do. And so their variability on offense is what's going to continue to have them with this sustained success as we go forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those things you start to see in some of these offenses like Brian Schottenheimer, who's going to love to – he's going to keep an identity to what they're going to do. They're going to try to run the football, and they're going to play action, and they're going to do some of that. But then also now he's got these two freaking studs on the outside where – you know what? It doesn't really matter what the call is. It doesn't matter what we're in. Like if you want to put the one-on-one and you want to play man-to-man against these guys, Dak Prescott is we forget that the quarterback he is and has been just because he's had some injury seasons lately. This dude's a baller, and he can put the ball anywhere. And what I love about Dak is it just seems like he's playing right now in a place of I could care less about the fear of failure. I am throwing the football and giving guys chances, and he's going to throw it up and give his guys chances. And I think that just adds to your offense because you know the identity that Brian Schottenheimer wants to have in his offense. You see Dak talk about, man, what the rapport he has with him and how much belief he has in him. And then now to have the studs that you have on the outside, they have built a roster on offense that, man, that is tough to defend. And I think it's very similar. You look across the league at some of the teams that are successful, it's kind of that. They've got this identity of running the football. They're able to use different personnels, and then they've got the guys on the outside when you want to give them one-on-ones that they'll take advantage of you. And so this Dallas team is one it's going to be a challenge for Detroit. And on Detroit's side, it's just a little bit of I look at it like it's like all these different things. They've been banged up in the secondary. They love to play man-to-man on defense. That puts guys in those situations that maybe aren't the best man-to-man defenders who've got to play that way because that's their identity. And then on offense, you've clearly had a problem because you take the play calling away from the guy, John Morton, who was calling it, and you give it to the head coach and Dan Campbell. He's calling the offense. That tells us there's issues there with how they think they're performing on the offensive side. And then the interior. I said this before the season started. I said it after the first game with the Packers. I was concerned when you lose a veteran baller like Frank Ragnow, it changes your offense. It changes the things you might have taken for granted of how efficient and how easy and smooth things go when you've got one of those legit elite centers. And then the interior line changed as well. And when you start to do that and you're built how Detroit's built, yeah, you got all these studs, but how does all that play together? You start to lose little things like on third down, can we protect Jared Goff who needs protection? You know, on first and second down, are we as effective running play action passes and getting some of these shots down the field if we can't protect as long? You've seen just these little kind of war of attrition things happen to them, and now they got some offensive guys down. How will they respond to that, and what's the identity they can create?
Yeah, and the tight end position, losing Laporta was a big thing too. Yep. And they weren't real deep at the wide receiver position. Now they have the two studs, but now Amon-Ra's out. So what does that look like?
Yep.
Jamison Williams is an alien. Like he's up there with George Pickens.
No question.
So watching this dude, when you watch the film and somebody just looks different athletically than everybody else, it's Jamison Williams and it's Jahmyr Gibbs. They've got two of them. Yep. And obviously I know the respect and awe that you have for watching Penei Sewell and the way that he plays, but they have some elite players on this offense still that are healthy. Obviously, Jared Goff is still there And he's had a good season as well, been sacked a little bit more. But it's a tough place to play. Like, the Cowboys have to go into Detroit. Yep. I don't know what the line is. I got to imagine it's pretty close to a pick 'em. I don't know what it is, but Detroit is no easy place to play, and they have their backs up against the wall. So the thing that I've seen with Detroit this year, they've gotten everybody's best shot. I almost feel like it's Kansas City this year as well. It's like they have been the team in the NFC the last 2 years. Yeah, they haven't, made it to the Super Bowl, but they have been that team that, they've had that bravado and that brashness, and they're the ones that it's like that's the team that everybody has looked to beat the last few years. And I think that's catching up to them a little bit this year because they're getting everybody's best shot week in, week out. And then the other thing just being, it's hard for me, the Dan Campbell fourth down stuff, we're going to be in your face on defense. We're going to force you to beat us. We're going to play man coverage. We're going to be up in your grill. This is who they are. And for him to step back and change that's going to change the identity of this football team. And that's not something he wants to do. I just think at some point it might be more prudent for them to step back a little bit from how aggressive they are on the fourth down. So step back a little bit from how aggressive they are on defense. And with the team that they currently have, that might be a better way to go about it.
Yeah, because I think every situation you have to treat as its own in the NFL. And I think you look at last year's team, Fitz, and the role they were on, the confidence they had. They were in a lot of those situations, and they were also healthy on offense where they were going for these things. And it's like, all right, we got all our guys. We got an elite offensive line that's performing at an elite level, elite backs, elite receivers, like Jared Goff's playing out of his mind. Like, you're really confident in those situations. Then on defense, you remember they lost a lot of guys up front, but they were pretty healthy in the secondary. So if you want to play some of this stuff man to man, some of the aggressiveness they want to go, like, yeah, we may not get there as much, but we got our guys to go cover. And I think that this year it's just different. And so it's like, all right, is there some things we might need to do differently to pull back a little bit, but still keep that same mentality of the way we play? That's really going to be the question for them to kind of be able to figure out how to answer in this game, especially against a team in Dallas that's hot and they got belief. This will be a challenging one. And you brought up the target thing of like, hey, teams want to give you your best shot. I mean, we just saw that, unfortunately, with my Rams this weekend, right? Yeah. You go on the road to Carolina. What do you think that Canales and the entire Panthers organization said all week? These dudes are flying across the country. They just beat the Seattle Seahawks in a massive game. They just destroyed the Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football, and they're coming out here thinking we're going to roll you guys, and that's just the truth. I don't know. Sean McVay got sensitive about, he was asked about, hey, did you not think this team was good? I agree with him. I don't think that they looked down on the Panthers at all. I think the difference is the Panthers are another one of those teams where when you look at it, like, they got some guys that they can give the football to. How's Bryce Young play? Like, the defensive coordinator, Los Angeles Rams guy, Coach E, like he knew Sean and them well. It was a great matchup of like, all right, we know you, we know kind of your offense, we know you well from a defensive schematic standpoint, and then offensively, what did the Rams get? The Panthers' absolute best shot on offense. I mean, that is the best they've played all season long. And so that's what you start to get. You have success, and you start to be labeled as the team. You're going to get the best shot from people. And so that means you're not going to have that room for error. And that's really what that game came down to for the Rams.
Yeah, and I'm glad I'm not a betting man because I just called that game, San Francisco-Carolina game, and it's like, oh my goodness, there's no way that I thought Carolina was going to have a chance in that game. And part of it was just the way they played against the 49ers offensively. Just didn't love it. But, when you can run the football, and Bryce Young on 3rd and 4th down made some big plays in that game. Teteroa McMillan. I mean, we got to get this guy 10 to 12 targets a game. He's unbelievable. And I think they need to continue to find ways to get him the football a little bit more. But, yes, glad I'm not a betting man because that one was a guarantee. Yeah. Well, I'm also in our survivor pool. I'm glad that I'd already picked the Rams because I was definitely like, I'll pick the Rams here. I'm still alive, though. Are you still alive?
Yeah, I'm still alive.
Okay, good. Yeah. Who did I end up going with? I ended up going with Seattle.
Okay. All right.
But there's a couple games though I was just nervous on picking them this week. Like I didn't want to for some reason touch the Cleveland San Francisco game after the firing of Chip Kelly. I didn't want to touch the Vegas game. Like, I don't know, there was a bunch of scary ones out there. But so after our Black Friday game on Saturday, I stayed behind because Harvard was playing in their first playoff game ever against Villanova. Just so happened to be in the city our Black Friday game was in. Very excited. Went to a bar, pre-gamed with some buddies. We lost 52-7.
Ooh.
52-7. And when I tell you, I don't even know that it was that big of a spread in talent. Harvard, we dropped at least 8 footballs in the first half. The first one being a flea flicker, double reverse, wide open in the end zone, right in the bread basket, and he flipped it up and it got intercepted in the end zone, and that was the sign of things to come. I felt so bad for Jaden Craig, the quarterback. I've never, ever, ever seen anything like it. 8 drops is not an exaggeration in the first half. But that also got me to thinking, like, this is the last game that all those seniors will ever play. But they're Jaden Craig, supremely talented. So there's a lot of guys in college now. So he played 4 years, didn't play his freshman year. So he has the ability to grad transfer. So he's got to make the decision. Do I go to the draft or do I take an extra year and grad transfer? The landscape in college right now is so crazy. Because a kid like him, like, he'll probably be able to grad transfer and make more money in college than he would going to the NFL. So you think, what's the downside in that? But then it got me thinking about your predicament with LSU and everything going on there. It looks like Lane made a decision. Looks like he's going to be an LSU Tiger.
I mean, the whole thing just makes you want to shower. I mean, it's just, it does. It's tough. I think, I watched, obviously, Coach Saban talk about this on game day Saturday, and you've seen some of the comments. It's been a big deal. Everyone's got a side of it. I'm happy for LSU that they got the guy they believe in, and I hope he has success there. But at the same time, I see all the different sides of the coin in the sense of, I think it's crazy that, people have any reaction to him being able to finish coaching there, because I think that's crazy. Like, once you've agreed to go play, be the head coach of the rival, like, you're not coaching our football team anymore and you're not a part of our, university. So, like, bye, see you later, like, take the deal, but you're gone. Like, I think it's crazy. I think anybody thinks he should have been able to finish the season. I think that just doesn't make any sense. You don't take a job somewhere else, especially a team's rival, basically, and then get to finish with their season. But at the same time, it's unfortunate that this is what the college system is now. I mean, we all knew this was coming with NIL, with everything else. It continues to happen. What I think's funny about this one, though, Fitz, and I'd be interested to hear what you think, is like this reaction to Lane Kiffin's deserting his team and his organization, and they're in the middle of the playoffs and all this stuff. Like, I think that's relevant to this season. But, like, this has gone on in college football with head coaches leaving universities for better opportunities to get paid more money, where they've recruited all these kids and brought them all there and promised them all these things, and then they've taken up. Like, this has been going on forever. Like, how did Nick Saban get to LSU? Which is it, like, he was at Michigan State, had some success, and LSU flew a plane up there and said, bring who you want. You're going to now be the head coach of the LSU Tigers. And then how did Nick Saban leave LSU? Didn't he win a national championship? Had the most success LSU's ever had in their history in his 4 years there? Yes, he did. But he got offered a bigger check and he left to go to the Dolphins. And I signed with Nick Saban, and I was told it was a 4-year decision that would end up being a 40-year decision. But in 4 years, my head coach was gone. That's the reality. And I'm not saying that in a negative about Nick, but what I'm saying is that is the college football landscape, and it has always been that way for coaches. It is just recently, because of NIL and things, become that way for players. If we remember, Nick Saban also got out because some of his disappointment was in that players, here he is trying to compete for national championships and to go to the college football playoffs, and guys are worried about what their NIL deal is instead of worrying about winning a championship. And that was one of the things he said, is like, this has ruined college football. But really all it's done is made it where players and coaches now are making decisions that, unfortunately, because of the college football calendar, is happening at the wrong time. And I've been adamant about this, Fitz. Like, this whole thing needs to be happening in May, at the end of the year, full calendar year, and not in the winter break. And you could solve so much of this stuff.
Yeah, I'm a Harvard guy. We don't deal with NIL, and we don't deal with coaching changes. My coach just retired after 30 years. But
y'all are the Steelers.
It does seem like there's a much better solution. I don't remember which basketball coach it was, but he was like, could you imagine a coach leaving during March Madness, like
That's
getting
crazy.
there, getting the 1 seed, and then just moving on to a different school. It just doesn't make any sense. My biggest issue with all of this isn't, now I think it's good that players have choices. Sure, my college experience was a lot different. I had a 4-year experience at a great university and loved my time. And because that was my experience, I want my kids to have the same experience, not necessarily at my school, but a place where you feel like you become part of a community.
Yep.
And I feel like picking up and leaving and going, if we're chasing money, yeah, that's great. And you're chasing checks, but I enjoyed being at the same place for 4 years and having great relationships. And my biggest issue with all this is it trickles down. It trickles down to the high school level. I mean, we're at a point now, Arizona, it's just open. You can go wherever the heck you want, which, school choice, great. That allows people to pick whatever school they want to. And earlier and earlier, it's being determined by what sports team you can make and which ones are going to be the best. And it's just like, I don't like it at the youth level because the sense of community, it tears it away. I live in not a huge neighborhood, and the kids probably go to 6 different elementary schools, the kids in this neighborhood. And it's like, I don't know. I like to live in a simpler time where when you're going to elementary school, if you're in a particular district and it's a good school district, then you go to that school. If you're in a particular district and you don't have great schools and you want to choose to go somewhere else, like, more power to you. But it's almost frustrating to me that it's trickled down to the 6 and 7-year-old level where everybody has a choice in the matter and everybody can go wherever the heck they want, and it doesn't help with the community building aspect of it.
Yeah, and I think that's my point, though, Fitz, is that, like, I look at it as all I can do is talk to my experience. When I was a freshman at LSU, I redshirted. I was miserable. I called my mom every week. Like, I hate being here. It's the first time I'd ever lived away from home. I didn't, you're playing football for Nick Saban. Like, it was very intense, obviously.
Adversity. Just leave then, Whit.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave, right? And so it's like and my point to it is like everyone's trying to figure out the money part of it and the loyalty part of it and all that. Like, I get all that. Why I say May is a totally different reason. And the reason is that fall, because it was so busy, because I was a student athlete, I didn't have any community. All I had was I'm an LSU Tiger, and I redshirted, but I was one of those guys where I was one play from playing. Like, I was the backup tackle at both tackles. And it's like, my redshirt, I might lose my redshirt any week. So I had to travel with the team. I had to prepare like I was playing, and I was just miserable. And then I got into January and February and March and April and all the months where I'm not playing football anymore. Like, I get to kind of be a student, and I got to, like, form relationships and go to local, like, restaurants and bars and everything else, and just kind of be a part of being at school and be a student on campus where I'm not running to practice and I'm not running to study hall every second because, I got to make early workouts and fit it into my schedule. Now it's like, all right, I get to be a student. And I fell in love with being a student and being at LSU and being a part of that community. And before I ever became a starter, before I ever, like, got the opportunity to be the guy, I actually loved the school I was going to. And so in May, when I'm sitting there going, oh man, for my first year, like, God, the fall sucked. The spring was awesome. I can't wait to go through the fall now knowing that I love this place. And then I became a starter and I fell in love with the university. And my point to that is, take all the money you want. You want to be at a place to get paid? Great. But you don't know shit about that school, that community, and the fact that you'd leave there and your only determination is how you were treated as a football player or the opportunity you did or didn't get. And that's all you got out of moving your entire life to a campus and a community. Like, I think that's sad. I think it's sad for the kids to get nothing from that experience other than sports, and that's it. So to me, if you just made it in May, it would make kids have to make a real decision. Like, hey, yeah, the money's good, but I got to go commit to one whole year on this campus. And now I get a chance to really fall in love with the school, possibly, which might make me become a better football player because I'll be more committed to the place I'm playing for, and I'll fall in love with it for other reasons than just the money. And I think also with coaching, like, you get rid of this whole thing where you can say Lane Kiffin's a jackass for leaving Ole Miss and these kids and what they were promised, but at the same time, he's the one that came there and created what they were getting to experience. So at the same time, you can say he's a jackass for leaving. The calendar is what's making him make this choice. Like, he's having to choose, is it for me or for this team? And I think that you can, in both sentences, I can say, you know what? I'm disappointed that he would leave that team in that moment, which I am. Like, I hate that that's happening in college football. But I also get that just like there's kids in the portal right now that are deciding whether they want to leave teams that have a chance to go compete for a playoff. There's kids doing it everywhere. They're just not a big story. Like they're deciding whether they want to leave their team that's competing right now in a playoff to go take money to go to another university. Like it's happening all over the place. And it's the nature of what we've created in college football, and it has to get fixed because of the intangible things that everyone is experiencing, like unfortunately not getting a chance to be a part of community, being a part of commitment, being a part of something bigger than yourself. Like that's the greatest part of college, is being a part of something. And so to me, that's being robbed from everybody. So you can judge Lane, you can judge the players, you can judge all these people, but it's a system that's broken and it has to get fixed.
And it seems like the player part of that is easier than the coach part of it, because it's like LSU has an opening. So what are we telling them? They got to wait till May to fill the opening. Like that part of it, that even if that became a rule, you know what's going to happen with the agents and the backdooring.
Yeah. I think coaches, you got to think as the season's over, you can get hired or fired, right? Players, to me, I think should have to serve their entire year. And that's just the truth. I think
that's a great, yeah.
I think you should commit to a year. Like commit to a year. Like you can do that.
Yeah.
I think Nick Saban made the remarks and he said you could almost have some kind of OTA. Instead of having spring ball, you could have some version of the NFL OTAs in May. Obviously, he's been in the NFL. So he's like, you must give colleges the opportunity, like, hey, instead of having spring ball, let's have some version of OTAs in May to where teams transfer, you have this transfer portal. And when kids come in, that's when you would actually do your version of spring ball, but it'd be more like an OTA type situation than true spring ball, which I thought was a great idea.
Yeah, it sounds like we got some good ideas. Now we need some leadership to be able to put them in place.
That'll be an issue.
Yeah. But
hey, so I will say, I'll button it up with Lane Kiffin, LSU Tiger. Just take a shower. Outside of that, I'm ready to go. That's all.
You're ready to go.
I took my shower this morning, and now it's time, baby. Death Valley, let's go. I'm going to get you down there, so be ready.
Are you guaranteeing a national championship in the next 4 years, or?
Well, here's the reality. That's the pressure. You take the job of the last few coaches that have been there. Only one didn't win a national championship, and so Lane Kiffin, the pressure's on now. Nick Saban, Les Myles. Big Ed O. Is he bringing Ed O back? That's a big story. Supposedly Ed O's going to come back on the staff. We'll see. We'll see if he can get him back, baby.
I mean, he could probably recruit his balls off.
I'm going to
just
guarantee
listen to that voice on the phone.
Ed O's been to places one never wants to go to figure out how to get players. I guarantee you that. That guy, he didn't turn any. It was yes was the answer. You asked, it was yes.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. All right, let's get to our beard of the week. I got another great submission from one of my dad's best friends, upstate / Western New York, somewhere over there. Bob, I don't know where you're living these days. Maybe PA, somewhere in that region of the country. But this is his personal trainer. This guy's name is David. I'm going to hold it up, but pretty incredible. He's got great
full. Yeah, that's thick.
Well. And it's the fact that he doesn't care about the mustache, right?
Yeah.
He just let that thing go. Again, we love the multicolor. We love the girth.
I was about to say, there's some, that's strong girth.
Look how he's shaving it down on the sides, too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he's almost giving you that sideburn look on the sides, and then it just poofs out like a chia pet.
That's beautiful.
So, David, congratulations. Beautiful beard. Keep representing. Let's make sure we're throwing some shampoo in that thing every now and again, okay?
You worried about whether that's getting washed?
I am. I'm a little worried about it because it looks like mine a little bit, which means I know you're only showering once a week and you're working as a personal trainer. So we got to make sure we're cleaning that sweat off.
Hygiene first, people. Hygiene first. Yeah. I've lost my girth, Fitz. That's why I've had to shave it down. Are we
still
thin.
In the row? Is
it's
this
wispy.
The row?
No wispy.
I thought we were still in the
just lost my girth. Just disappointed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, continue to hit us up on social media, nominate a friend, or just blow up my phone, apparently, because I've gotten some really good submissions from some of my friends, family, and the like. So we appreciate it. And now you alluded to this, Whit. Harvard versus Hank. It's back. I've been worried about Hank. I didn't know if he was at the vet. I didn't know if he was still alive, what's going on. But Hank is making his triumphant return today to the show. But we are all tied up. and I am salty, and I'm going to pick 5 games this week that I know are going to go my way so that I can get back in the league.
Let me tell you where
against
Hank's
Hank.
mindset is. This is true. I wish I had camera on this entire room. He kicked open the 2 doors mid through our Kyle Van Noy talk, and he's been sitting under me just staring at the screen for the last 40 minutes. So he is locked in and ready to take you down. He knows what today's about. So get your mind right.
All right, Hank, we're both 17-8-1. Get your ass up here. All right, Hank, we got 5 games to pick here. First game, we're going to pick Steelers-Ravens. I am going with the Ravens. What say you, Hank?
All right, Hank, talk to me, baby. Whoa! Going Steelers. He's after you right now.
Does he not like Kyle Van Noy? I thought he was a great guest, Hank. Now, next game we're going to pick is Colts-Jaguars. This, all of a sudden, is an enormous football game. I'm going to go with my guy, Shane Steichen, and the Indianapolis Colts in this one.
Oh, early
Hank?
decision. He's going Jags. He's taking the paper, too. Don't eat the Jags, baby.
Okay, this is great. We got some dissension right here, Hank.
I think he just wants to go against anything you pick.
What is the food you're giving Hank right now?
I think we're going with a little turkey right now.
Turkey? Okay.
Turkey, turkey bacon.
Did you cook your own turkey on Thanksgiving, Whit, or how'd that go?
Have we met each other? I don't drive myself,
okay,
and I
Dolphins,
definitely don't cook
Jets.
my own turkey.
You know what? This one, I actually feel like this is interesting. Tyrod had them playing pretty good. Let's see. I'm gonna go Jets in this game.
You're going Jets. Hank, what are you going with? Oh, he went Dolphins, baby.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's just listening to you and saying, forget you.
I know, which is fine. And I have no confidence in any of those 3 picks I just made either. Maybe I have the most confidence in the Ravens pick, but not in the last 2.
You better be careful with this one.
Bengals, Bills. Gosh, 2 former teams of mine. This always makes it hard. I'll go Bills, Whit. I'll go Bills.
Hank, what you got, baby?
Oh, you're a smart dog. You're a smart dog, Hank.
Listen, no
That's
faith in Joe Burrow.
Hank picks
no
the
faith
Bills.
in Joe Burrow.
Oh, the last time I saw the Bengals play at the Bills, it wasn't great for the Bills. All right, let's go Bears-Packers for our last one.
Ooh.
I actually want your pick after I pick and Hank does here, Whit, just to get you on record. But I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. I'm feeling pretty good about it, too.
Okay. Hank?
Ben Johnson versus Matt LaFleur.
Yeah. His face kind of... Hank, you kind of look like a bear.
Bears. He does a little bit. Who do you think's going to win that game, Whit?
You know, here's the thing. I think the Bears have played great. I think they've had a good run. I think this Packers team is going to get back to being what we saw week 1 and then our game on Thursday Night Football against the Commanders. I think this is the sneaky team to watch how they finish the season, because they may be that team that we all thought was going to be great. They disappeared for a little while, and here they come roaring back and making themselves a contender in the NFC. I'm going to go Packers.
All right. I think we are in agreement there then. All right. So
good job, boy.
I'm Ravens, you're Steelers. I'm Colts, you're Jaguars. I'm Jets, you're Dolphins. We're both Bills. And I am Packers, you're Bears, Hank. Can't wait to beat your ass this weekend.
Get him, Hank.
All right. That's it for us. We'll be back next Wednesday with all the biggest news from Week 14. Fitz and Whit is a Wave original. Thanks again to our guy, Kyle Van Noy, for joining us. What a guy. Thanks to our production crew, and thanks again to all you beardos for tuning in. See you later.
Peace.
Peace.